Did you know Aiden was coming back?
I did not. No,
Really?
I like everybody else for the
Wow.
longest time was speculating that this beast that we were sort of tracking and tracing was going to wind up being Aiden. I was hoping for it because my hope was that what we were going to wind up was with the best of all worlds, and I'd love to see something like a split screen co-op or something like that with both Aiden and Kyle.
I got one more for you on Chris. A question I've always wanted to ask. He's using steroids, surely.
Oh God, I mean, I'm not going to go canon here because I don't know, but I mean, really? That ain't just from eggs.
You know what? That's just reminded me. Your young Ezio is underrated, I feel like. I thought it was a different actor.
No, it's young Ezio. He's this guy. Yeah, he's a good life we lead, brother.
I need an egg, and Dan Allen is that egg. Salute, Dan Allen Gaming. This is the best. Welcome to the Brotherhood. What is your egg?
Ladies and gentlemen, look who we have on the show today, Roger. It is a pleasure, man. Gaming royalty, Ezio, Batman, Chris Redfield, Sonic, Mirage. I could keep going on. Kyle Crane. Man, you are a
Wild.
talented son of a bitch.
Thank you. Good Lord. I disagree. I think I'm very, very fortunate. I think I slipped and fell into something that happened to work out, but thank you. It's very, very kind. It's a nice intro.
We were just talking, you came to Australia, was it last year?
No, it was this year. I think it was
This year.
2025. Was it 2025? Good Lord, yes. Or yeah. I'm trying. What a wonderful problem to have. I'm trying to remember if it was 2025 or 2024, but we did both Australia and New Zealand this year. So
And you got mooned by a bird in New Zealand.
yes, which was awesome. Yep. The what was it? The not feathertail. The
Fantail.
fantails. Yeah.
Yeah.
They aptly named fantail. They're hilarious. They were one of my favorite birds to see out there.
I love, our bird, the kookaburra. I mean, that's
yes.
just, you got a few shots of that, didn't you?
I did, yeah, with a
Yeah.
grub in its mouth and lucked out, yeah. We were in Wellington, and of all places, like there was just a little park there that had ginormous flying bats, or fox bats or whatever, flying foxes, those things. They were huge, and they were out in the middle of the day, and all of a sudden I was just like, I ran back to the hotel, grabbed my camera, I came back. And lo and behold, there was one on the ground with a little grub in its mouth, and then took off right at me, which birds hardly ever do. So I was able to snap some great shots.
For anyone that doesn't know, Roger's into very skilled photographer. Well, I mean, what would you call your specialty photography?
Here's the sad part. I've been so busy lately. Not only have I not been gaming anywhere near as much as I would like to say that I'm a gamer. But the photography. So my hobbies are astrophotography and bird photography primarily over maybe wildlife. But if I see a fox or a deer, I'll snap a pic. But astrophotography and nightscapes. So the difference, because some people always ask, what's the difference? Astrophotography is typically where you have nothing in the foreground. So you're either connected to a telescope or you're only shooting the sky. Nightscapes involve not being connected to a telescope unless you're doing something pretty tricky, but usually like a standard camera and taking pictures of like the Milky Way and the night sky and that kind of thing. So that's my passion. I have not hooked up a camera to my telescope, even with new equipment that I'm waiting to dive in and take the learning curve on in years, and it's killing me.
So what's your non-work thing lately?
Gosh, it's sort of like trying to stay healthy. Just trying to stay healthy and try to stay on top of things. And it's all like personal life stuff, like trying to wrangle the personal life to get that in line more for a sort of a healthier sort of balance between things. But my goodness, tons of travel, and the work is still like keeping me plenty busy, which is a lovely thing to say at 20 plus years in the business. That I'm still busy, which is nuts and beyond me. But no, I need to try to get the life kind of settled down so I can have a personal life of some more photography and some more time camping and hiking and biking and all that.
What's busy look like for you?
Like an average day? I mean, my gosh, if it was, well, it's hard to call them average because there is no such thing as an average day anymore. I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's always like some days you'll have like, oh, I have nothing today. That's amazing. And then it's just, I got to get to the cleaners and get groceries done and get laundry done and do all that. It's like get caught up on all the little things and clean up this house a little bit. But no, so I am fortunate enough to work in so many different facets of the business that's what really sort of keeps me busy, because it's sort of spread out. But on my busiest days, it'll begin with a retail session in the morning to support an East Coast client. Now that I'm in mountain time up in Boise, Idaho, it's a little bit more palatable than when it was, doing 6 a.m.s in LA. Do a retail session for about an hour or two. Then we get into the time when it's either animation promos, animation session, video game session. I might have a promo thrown in between the 2 4-hour chunks that'll be booked up from 9 to 1 and 2 to 6 as the typical recording times. And sometimes they'll throw in another unsupervised, promo read for another network that's on there. And then end of the day, somewhere in there, you're trying to audition for all the things that you hope to try to be booking for next week or the week after.
You're not still auditioning, surely, Roger.
Oh, yes. No, I think that's...
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Oh, but I can't operate that way. I can't...
Really? You want to earn it? You want to feel like you earned it? Yeah.
One of the worst things that ever happened to me, like probably 15 years ago, somebody told me they listened to an audition. They go, well, we had like 500 submissions and you were like the third one that we listened to and we liked it. So we were just like, well, just go with him. And I was like, don't tell me that. Never tell that to an actor. Like, you got 500 people who are hopefully trying their best to earn your, and it's like, don't tell me I was one of the random first and that one worked. It's like, but no, I look at it like, I love being a part of a production. I love thinking that I'm a part of your production. I love thinking that I'm working with people, and therefore I want to audition and respect that process within reason. I mean, it's always nice when somebody calls up and they go, hey, they worked with you in the past, they love you, and they know that you can do these 3 characters real quick, so off you go. But I like challenging myself with like, what can I do that's different that I haven't done before? What's a choice that I can make? How am I getting lazy in my auditions? What am I, and some of it is often that you're getting the same kinds of characters that are just in different, properties and that kind of thing. It's just, it's storytelling. But even then I try to think like, what can I do that's a little bit, what can I do to, sort of pique my own interest? So yeah, no, I audition all the time. 3 this morning as it is. So really,
I feel like Amanda White's, you're a fan favorite of hers.
It's easy to say that. I mean, it is. Thankfully, I mean, Amanda is so good at what she does and works on major projects. And thankfully, I'm still competitive in that realm. And so, yeah, there's times, believe me, she would be the first to say, and I think she said this forever ago. She said, look, when somebody comes along, and let's go to, say, 2013, which was a really big year for me from a career standpoint, where it began with, oh gosh, it was Planes premiered. I premiered as Batman, my first time as Batman, and then Avengers Assemble premiered on Disney XD. So
damn, yeah.
Batman and a Disney bad guy in a theatrically released animated film. So all these things were happening, but she said, look, Roger, that was a really great time in your career, but my job as a casting associate and a director is to always be looking for the next you or the next Troy or the next you name it.
Really? That's a bit daunting to hear that.
But it makes perfectly good sense to me. She has a job where if she just hires, the same people over and over again, then no one's going to want to work with her, because it's like, well, we've heard what you do with those few people. And so to her point, she's saying, my job is to do this. And your job is to try to keep, competitive. And so there's a respectful friendship there. We're almost identical in age and grew up in Orange County and didn't know one another at that time at all. And then got into this business. And then all of a sudden I landed the Ezio role. And that was where it
just a small role. Yeah.
Just a small role. Well, you got to imagine, for me back then, I didn't know. I mean, that was really and truly, it was such a magical time. And she and I talk about this every now and then, because I don't work with Amanda as often as one might think. But
no, of course.
I love when we do get a chance to work together, because I just find it's fun. It's like a big sister, little sister, or big sister, little brother.
But do you give each other shit a bit?
All the time. Oh,
yeah.
I am.
But you're like that in general, aren't you? With people,
with people that you know and like, it's yeah. And those are the people that I like the best too. Is like when somebody gives you a little bit of guff because they go back with you, you're like, yeah, that's love. No, but we were talking about oh god, what was I saying? Oh god, just sort of like how much production has kind of changed throughout the years, how much the industry has changed throughout the years, and we were talking about just kind of a magical time in the business when it was, 2008, 2009, like video games were just sort of produced in a different way.
Oh,
Uh
what a time that
yeah, it
was.
just felt
Yeah.
different. So we didn't know what we were sitting
Yeah.
on. We were hopeful. That it was going to land well. But I mean, even talking to Patrice Desolé, I know that they had taken 3 years off between the release of Assassin's Creed and then Assassin's
Mm.
Creed 2. And here it was, talk about a gamble. Let's not only like, even though the first one was sort of critically lauded, it did have its flaws. So they took the time to get the fight mechanics right, to not have such repetitive storytelling elements, that kind of thing. But they took a gamble on creating a new protagonist, and so there was a lot of like a feeling of who knows how this is going to go. I mean, we're taking I always say my accent is not authentic Italian at all. It's Italia Spanglinish is the phrase that I use. But
Yeah.
we were taking something and blending and working with Ida Darvish, our dialect coach, and trying to say, look, this Renaissance era way of speaking Italian, what would have been more authentic to that, and trying to find ways of saying let's uncontract things to make it a little more stilted in terms of its delivery of language. It was such an ambitious thing that I don't think I wasn't sitting back going, this is going to be a hit. I'm a Scotch Irish guy going, yeah, all right, I'll be this Italian character. So
But it was those games were banged out pretty quick from memory, and was it kind of all over very quickly, or how did it
well,
feel for you?
the AC2, we took a long time on getting it right. Right, that was
Mm.
that was a pretty substantial production time for that one in particular. Lines in Italian, a heavy use of Italian, that kind of thing. And then I think when it became a hit and they had that on their hands, I think they quickly were like, let's keep this going. And so yeah, within a year, I think we were cranking. I mean, within months of the release, we were cranking out Brotherhood, and then from Brotherhood, it was on to Revelations, and then from Revelations, like tacking on at one of my last Revelations records, I think we were tacking on the Embers short. So yeah, they came pretty rapid fire right after AC2. And yeah, so but yeah, it was a whirlwind. 3 years or 4 years of production.
Do you look at Italy different? Have you been to Italy since?
I
And
have.
does it feel different to you, like Florence and Rome, or not really?
Yeah. So yes. And yet, what I found when I visited was I had just a profound appreciation, and I was in awe of just how phenomenal a job the folks at Ubisoft had done in terms of just their
Mm.
research, and my gosh, the sort of the visuals that they were able to achieve and conjure up were just incredible. So no, but I did find myself like an ugly American kind of going, I climbed that, been on top of that church. I jumped off of that thing and killed a dude. In my mind, I'm going, yeah, I've done all these things that are related to a video game. And it was like, yeah, it was quite funny, but it's such a cool country. My God, Rome was just staggering, the history. I mean, coming as an American, I think it was like Eddie Izzard has that great joke about like, Americans and their history. And he's like, you go to a museum in America, and you have a museum guy going, and there it is, everyone. It's exactly as it was. We've restored it exactly as it was over 50 years ago today. And meanwhile, you go to a place like Rome where you're just like, wow, we weren't even a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
But no, and for me, Venice, Venezia was just, oh my goodness. That was like throw the map away and wander and just get lost.
Mm.
I
I've
was
heard
there
that's the best way to do Italy. Just throw the map away and just
for sure.
go, and just
Yep.
hit the hidden towns.
Yeah, without a doubt. No, yeah, it was an incredible trip, and I was very fortunate to get a Roman tour guide on a private tour, and an actual Roman who had grown up in Rome and loved Rome, and loved it and hated it for all the complex reasons that a complex kind of love-hate relationship with people who are there. And then he took us to an olive tree farm, and there was a restaurant on site, a family-run restaurant that was. And he's like my family and I, we love to come here to LA. Once every year. It's only because we eat so much that we cannot do more than 1 year, and it was just an incredible experience, like a brick fire, and yeah, and
Do you know?
old ruins on their property.
You know what? That's just reminded me. Your young Ezio is underrated. I feel like you don't get
Oh,
enough credit for how good that was because
you
people
sure
thought
am.
I thought it was a different actor at the
Oh,
time.
nice.
No, he's young Ezio. He's this guy. Yeah, it is a good life we lead, brother. May it never change. May it never change us.
Yeah, I get goosebumps at that. Like
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I got
Elias and I, we
goosebumps.
still go over, all that like together because it's
Oh,
just. And look, I get goosebumps when I see footage of AC2 and hear the music that Jesper Kid created.
the music.
And the way that
Oh,
they do the pan over the town and the leap of faith, and it's just a really I am this is why when you say what you say at the top of the show, I go, no man, I'm very fortunate. I'm lucky that I got into this business at a time that I got into it when I found it to be just amazing and so cool and checked so many boxes for me that I hadn't known I was waiting to get checked for a job or a career path or ambition in life. But I look back on so many of those things and just go, what a magical time. Like it's nuts to think that I that then that became something that along with Sonic the Hedgehog is sort of an iconic representation of video games, that the look and the originality of Assassin's Creed and just that hood and all of those things that are sort of ubiquitous in gaming now. And I got to be on sort of an early bet. It's kind of crazy. I'm very fortunate.
So you didn't go when you were visiting Rome. You weren't in character the whole time. That's what I heard. You were in the Ezio voice the entire trip. That's
They
not
would
right.
No, God no. They'd kick me out. They'd be like leave with that. What is that? What do you think you're doing? You call that an accent? Like what are you doing? No, it's no. I always say because and this is actually something like we did this with Batman Arkham Origins when we were trying to finesse like what kind of a performance were we going to capture as Batman. As a young version of what both Kevin and Mark had established in their roles, it was like, what are we going to do? So we worked very hard, and even with Ezio, it was we needed to establish the 3 age ranges. That was really and truly because they did audition authentic Italian actors. They had done that, but they were looking for one performer to play those 3 different age ranges, and so
Is that what got you over the line?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Wow.
so. Because, when I walked in, I said, hey, the story I tell is I was a huge MotoGP racing fan at the time, and Valentino Rossi was the world,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was the world champion like so many times over. He's just dropped the mic, in that sport. And so I would say like, look, I watch his post-race interviews, and I don't know that you want your protagonist to sound like that, because it was so very like every consonant is a hit, and he'd be like, it
Yeah.
was a good race, the bike very fast in the corner, and slippery with the rain, but we make it happen, nonetheless. Like, it's a good race, good race, good race, And I'm like, I don't think that's what you want. And they're like, no, we're looking to achieve an element of that version of Italian accent, but then. And then, of course, I try to be like, Nasonex, Antonio Banderas.
Oh, that's not bad. I don't mind that.
Like, so we're swathing him up with a little bit of Spaniard. And so it's like Spanish would soften some of the consonants and this sort of thing, like, make it kind of smooth. So we took a little bit of the Italian, we mixed it with a little bit of Spanish, and then we have a more Western English, I guess, cadence and approach to speaking. So we take a little bit of the lilt and a little bit of the musicality out of the accent in that way, and so hence I say Italia Spanglish. But we worked very hard on trying to capture, to capture something that would be workable and nice to the ear. But if I was to attempt to do that in Italy, they would murder me.
Are you an F1 fan?
Oh yes, yeah, very much so.
Now,
Although
tell me, Oscar was robbed, Roger.
Piastri.
Oscar Piastri was robbed. Tell me I'm not wrong, please.
If you want to talk about somebody being robbed, where my love and my fandom literally crumbled was Lewis and Verstappen, and that whole thing that went down left such an unbelievable bad taste in my mouth, because I was like, I mean, it was not Christian Horner, but it was Toto, who was like getting on the radio and going, not like this, to I forget the name of the gentleman that made the horrific call that day to kind of go, let's just move these cars.
I'm pretty sure he was Aussie, sadly. that ref.
Yeah. And it's a horrible position to be in, and it was like, And literally Christian Horner mid-race going, we've done the best we can. We don't have the pace. They've got the car. We just have to hope that the racing gods shine down on us.
It was exciting, but it was a terrible finish, wasn't it?
Terrible finish.
Yeah.
I remember standing in my kitchen at 5 a.m. to watch
Same,
it.
man. Same.
And it was like, and I'm standing there watching it, and I'm literally going, I'm like screaming. I'm by myself, and I'm screaming, going, "What the F just happened?" I'm like, "What have I just watched?" And just feeling so, I mean, I get goosebumps right now thinking I felt so gutted. I felt so horrible as a fan of a sport, as a Lewis Hamilton fan since his rookie days. I was like, this is like, and honestly, Alan, like since then, sorry, Dan Allen. Sorry, I called you Alan.
No, you're right.
I'll just go Smith. You can call me Smith. Dan, from like day one, like after that, I was like, I could not feel good about it.
Yeah.
And so, no, the Piastri thing as well. Look, here's what's so funny too. I guess Sega and Sonic partnered with McLaren, and they partnered, and so the idea that you have, McLaren winning, and that it was their driver and like the Sonic speed thing. I'm like, well, that'll work. But yeah, the poor Piastri.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I don't know. Man.
I'm losing hope in the sport now. After that, and now the Piastri thing, it's tough pill for the Aussies. There's also Mark Webber back in the day. He had a bad run.
Yep.
So it's just not looking good for us at the moment. Us Aussies.
No, and it's like every time an American team tries to come in, I remember Scott Speed came in with, one of the gentlemen that was part of the broadcast team, and it's like I've really struggled even with the new broadcast team. I've found it to be way too shouty and yelly and just yelling about everything that we're seeing. And one of the things I enjoyed about the old school guys was that they would literally just like, lights out, turn it up. We're gonna let you watch the first 4 laps without saying anything, and then we'll start to, because everything kind of plays out. It sort of shakes out in those first few laps, and they would just allow it to unfold and let you as a viewer experience it. And Bob Matchett, like all those guys, they just had such charisma and charm. And yeah. But then I also have to remind myself I'm not young. I'm aging into my love of this sport and doing the whole I liked it better when it was this way, and I'm the old man yelling at clouds now. But no, I'm a definite F1 fan. I went to go to the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal, and
you did? Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Took my brother, and we went out there, and it was. It was a really, really cool experience, and especially that track. I've heard from anybody that they say if you want to get the most European experience out of it, go there, because at the end of the race they open up the track and everybody exits the venue by walking on the track, and it's like that's a very European thing apparently that they don't do in the States. I don't think they do that in Austin. I could be wrong, but I remember trying to get a season tickets to Austin when it was first announced, and the money that they wanted was so outrageous.
Really?
For 2 seasons. Oh, it was outrageous. And I'm like, but it's not even approved. The track isn't even like, you guys, we don't even know that at the last minute, the FIA might come in and say, like, you guys don't have a track ready. And all of a sudden I'm on the hook for these tickets. And they're like, yeah, that's how it works. And every other event that takes place at the track, you're on the hook for first right of denial, but you have to sell your tickets. And I was like, this is a joke. And so, it's all starting to leave a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I remember going to Australia. It was like $100 for a hat. I'm thinking.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Love to see the Australian Grand Prix, though. That track is so exciting.
It's a cool track.
Fans are great. Yeah. No, Aussie fans are awesome. But I'm definitely MotoGP and F1. I haven't really been following MotoGP in about the last 5 years, but every time I see it, I'm always just like, See,
you're not sounding American, man. Your tastes and hobbies. You know what I mean?
I'm wearing flannel, it's like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you are.
Cap on, I'm in Boise, Idaho. I'm in the mountains, it's like, but I do love to me, it's like, it's just the ultimate, it's a tie between MotoGP and Formula One, because we're talking about, you have this engineering that allows these machines to just be pushed to the absolute operational limits of physics and mechanics and all that, and then you get these humans that are willing to for the sheer joy of competitiveness and that adrenaline and that thrill comes onto these things and try to take it to that knife's edge of, if you go a little bit farther than this, you're gonna break it, you're gonna break out. And I just find that to be, it's just the strategy of the sports, the timing of everything, the sheer guts of the people that get behind those wheels. Yeah, everything, engineering, the science. I love it.
You can relate to that because you've got to go fast, when you're recording Sonic, right? You've got to, you actually do that while running, right? That's the technique you bring?
I'm glad you said that, Dan, because I'm pretty much no different than a Formula One driver. The thrill, the
same preparation, right? With the body work. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All the neck exercises, because 6 G's, lateral. when I'm turning my head, doing, you gotta go fast. It's like you got to be so careful. It takes a lot. I don't just wake up looking like this. There's a lot of effort. That's how it works.
Do you feel like your stand-up days kind of help you with that character in a way? Yeah.
So when I was saying earlier about checking boxes, I think what was happening in my life, I was a very directionless 20-something and into 30. I remember waking up on my 30th birthday and going, I am in debt, and I need to get. It's up to me. I need to get this going. What
were you doing as a job then? Sorry to cut you off.
Gosh, I had only graduated college. I'd finished college at the age of 27. So I went right into junior high. I never took the PSATs. I wasn't going to be able to afford going to a 4-year university right out of high school, so it was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I figure I'll just work. Maybe I'll try to focus in on this acting career that everybody tells me I should be doing, because everything leading up to that was like, I was class clown in 8th grade. I just always in theater arts. I was doing musical theater as a kid outside of school. I was doing all these performance kind of based things, and I enjoyed doing comedy and making people laugh. That was my favorite thing. And I was also doing drums and playing in bands and doing all these different things. I was a barista. I was delivering pizzas. I was going.
Oh, you did it all.
I did it all.
Yeah.
I was a server. I was a cocktail server at Dave & Buster's down in Orange County. I was doing everything I could think of, like, to just try to scrape by and earn a living and pay some rent. And so I was very directionless, but I was still kind of pursuing creative stuff. And then, lo and behold, stand-up comedy, like, finally I had reached an age where I was like, okay, I'm old enough to think I've got something to share, some life experience, as opposed to, a teenager kind of a thing. So I started doing stand-up and it was doing well. It was always a grind, for sure, because it's just when you're starting out, as in anything, you're always kind of scraping and grinding stuff together and eating a lot of humble pie. And yet eventually went back with a serious girlfriend. I was like, okay, I need to get a job, and all of a sudden I was working for a financial bankruptcy management services company and hating my life.
That sounds a bit.
Yeah. Temp. It was the worst, like 4 months of my life, but that was enough to tell me I need to go back to school and finish my education. Was able to have some assistance with that, which was phenomenal. I was able to, because at the age that I was going, I was able to qualify for Pell Grants and things like that are so important. So I was able to afford going to a university that I'd had family graduate from years prior, and got enrolled in the film program. Screenwriting was the major, earned my screenwriting degree, was working on a screenplay in development with a company. We'd had like 5 rewrites and doing all that stuff, but I was still starting to go into this voice acting thing, because in stand-up comedy, they had been saying, oh, you do so many voices and characters in your act. I would do impressions of the people that I was making fun of or that kind of thing in an effort to have people laugh with me. If it was an ex-girlfriend or somebody that I was trying to hit on or that kind of thing, it would be...
So just real life people, not celebrities.
Exactly. Yeah, I was never an impressionist. I never did impressions. I never fancied myself. To this day, I still don't. I might do a version of something, but I always call it my crappy version of it. Like, you want the crappy version of that, I can do that. And all of those things that I was learning along the way, screenwriting, story development, story arc, character arc, plans and payoffs and callbacks, and all these things that were so that made such good sense to me in learning and implementing into work. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, musical theater. I can sing. I can understand the timing of things. Drumming. I can understand the timing of the musicality of things. Rhythm, all of that. And then, stand-up, which was just one endless exercise in what else you got. Throw something else at the audience. If it's not, you're going to have to, each session, each director, each writer, producer that I work with, it's always a different audience. And you got to kind of real quickly stand up is like you hit that stage and you're kind of like, okay, what's this crowd going to be like? What is this weird conglomerate that'll exist as a single entity known as the crowd? What do they embody? What are they made of? Do they like fast stuff? Are we going to be kind of blue? Are we going to keep it highbrow? Are we going to slow down? Are we going to speed up? Am I going to come in high energy or just kind of ease them into the kind of humor that I want? All of that plays out in every single voiceover role to this date. And I pride myself when I get to do something like an ad lib that is sharp and is not violating. It's not just a choice because I can make one. It's a choice that's relevant to everything I know about the production so that it'll make sense. And if I can make it happen as a play, like a plant and a payoff kind of a thing, it's all these like things that I didn't know I was building, including working these horrible, horrible jobs where you have to deal with the general public or other, office workers and that kind of thing, people who are miserable like in their own lives and taking it out on you. Having an appreciation for what it's like to sit inside a voiceover booth and just be like, this is the greatest. I am happy to be sitting in this little padded room and having people say, hey, try this, try that. Can you do this? Can you do that? And I get to go, yeah, let me try it. Or, oh, I'm not very good at that, but maybe I can try a crappy version of it for you or that kind of thing. It's it all just came full circle. And there's nothing better than when I think, oh, that's a stand-up muscle that I just flexed there because I needed to very quickly pivot and shift and come up with something new. Or that's screenwriting coming back in and my education in that and the work that I have done in punching up scripts for productions and things like that. It's great.
Punching up scripts or punching up boulders?
Oh, well, there's, I mean, like, that's where stand-up comes in. Sometimes you're doing something and you're on stage and it's working, and yet in your mind you're like, I cannot believe I'm a grown-up and people are buying this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway because that's the job. Yeah. Punching boulders is definitely in line with that. That was like, what are we doing? You're punching a boulder.
How was that on the? Do you remember reading that on the script? What? You don't? No, it's funny.
But I'm sure Liam O'Brien and Stephanie Shea were my directors on that, and I'm sure they just looked at me and they're like, well, it's and it would have been like, okay, because I mean, this is what I laugh with the fans when they always bring up, what's up with that whole punching the boulder thing? And I go, let me get this straight. You've had a game where there are hordes of zombies, not only just zombies, but sometimes giant zombies.
And that's your problem. You got a problem with that, yeah.
And I'm like, and huge tarantulas, zombie-infected tarantula spiders, and all of it. Yeah. You have Albert Wesker standing in a pile of lava. Catching RPGs and throwing them back at you, but the boulder punching, that's a bridge too far for you. Okay.
You know what was too far for me? The whole egg stuff, man. It just it took me out of it. No.
Well, eggs are it's a source of protein and amino acids. Yeah.
No, that was 16 years ago, I think. Right? I mean, I was 16 at the time, so half my life ago, and I just got nostalgia for that game now. Looking back,
it's so funny. So you can imagine, like I got these white whiskers that are happening. That I meet people like that look like you, and they'll say like, "Oh man, you were the voice of my childhood," and I'm like, "What? No, no, you're." And they're like, "Yeah, man, I was like 13 when that game came out," and I'm like, "Oh crap, that's right."
I'm sorry.
Oh man, that was yeah.
You know what? You're actually looking pretty good. I'll give you that.
Likewise.
No, but I feel like it got a bit of slack at the time, that game, but now it just continues to age better, would you say?
I guess. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, I know they keep talking about remasters and remakes and things like that, and I've heard that they probably won't with 5 and 6 because they were more of a combat shooter than they were a jump scare, kind of like in the vein of what people associate Resident Evil to sort of embody. So we'll wait and see what becomes of that. But no, I don't know that it ages better. I just think it's like. It's just, again, we're going back to a time when games were just a certain thing. I don't know. It was pre-social media for me, so it wasn't about. I mean, Facebook.
You never saw all that fan reaction or anything. You didn't say,
no. Yeah. And that's what I really loved about the business is that I was like, look, everything that I was doing other than being on a stand-up stage, but at a certain point when I was going into screenwriting for the major, I was thinking, well, this is going to be great because I can hone my comedy chops on a stand-up stage like a lot of writers do. that'll just keep me kind of fresh. It'll keep my, finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world of comedy and that kind of thing. But for the most part, I'm like, I love the idea of working with the guys and gals in the trenches that are making productions happen. And so for me, it was like, yeah, we get to be a team. Let's all do this. I mean, I'd done PA work and things like that where I was a production assistant, and it was like, and I was working with a crew of people to make it all happen for the stars, out on that stage. And I was like, I love that. It's fun. It's like getting to be a part of it, but not having to be out front where you are under, such scrutiny and judgment and that kind of thing. And so the idea that you get to be a voice in something and celebrate with a crew and that kind of thing and have a little bit of notoriety was a neat blend. Social media now, and I say that as somebody who's appearing on a podcast.
I know there's a bit of irony, but no. Yeah.
But it's also, that's what now it has become. Now people are interested. Thankfully, I came along at a time when people are like, I want to know who that is. I want to know and see them and meet them and tell them, man, Chris was like a really fun character for me. And it is, or Ezio meant the world to me at a time that was really difficult. And, and I now get to be the lucky person, even though voice actors get a ton of attention. There's so many people that go into the making of these games, and it's like, it's not fair that we get to be the ones who people seek out to say, hey, I want to stand in line to shake your hand and have you sign something for me. And then I get to share with you what, having lost my brother who loved this character, I play that game because it's a connection that we had as siblings, and to meet you and to let you know that it's like, I hear that all the time, and I'm like, not just the brother story, but just stories that are sort of impactful in nature. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I love that we get to be a part of that. I don't want the idea of celebrity or notoriety to kind of step on the fantasy element and the meaningful element of what we do as a production staff. So it's like, yeah, it's a weird mix.
I guess podcasts like this is positive podcast, but the negative side of social media like X is pretty bad.
I don't know if you've noticed, I'm still on there, but what I've done is I've shut off comments because
I saw that, man. I think I might do the same. That's a great way to do it.
I just was like, look, I just don't need it.
Because people can still be updated with you, but yeah.
And it also, what it does is it provides a little bit of accountability to somebody if they really, really, really want to take the time and effort to try to be nasty or be unkind or do something. Instead of it just being a comment that they get to throw into my feed that none of their followers might even see unless they're following to see what replies these people are making. It's like it forces them to, if they really want to go that far, they're going to quote what it is that I've posted, and they're going to have to weigh in, at which point now it's no longer hiding behind the anonymity of a username, whereas I am my full birth name. It's like you guys get to come after me as being associated with something that, like I love it when somebody comes after a voice actor and is like, you need to fix skill-based matchmaking. I always my favorite reply to that is like, when are you going to fix the potholes on my street?
Who the hell says that to you? Well, what derangement? What's this for? COD or Apex or what?
You name it. It doesn't matter.
What
I've had
the fuck?
Tech support of games that, like Sonic games, they'll be like, my Xbox is glitching. What do you? Can somebody please do something? I'm like, that's why I go, when are you going to fix the problem? Like, well, I don't work for that department. I'm like, not my problem. I mean, you should fix that. Like, I guarantee you, I can find a way to connect you to the people who need to fix the potholes on my street.
I got one more for you on Chris. You got to. Can you tell me a question I've always wanted to ask? He's using steroids, surely.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm not going to go canon here because I don't know, but I mean, really? That ain't just from eggs.
He was jacked to the gills.
Yeah.
He was so wide.
Are bigger than his head. And I laugh and I go, like, anatomically, I think, wiping himself is not even capable. I mean, it's like,
oh man,
yeah, it's no.
He was so big. He's toned down now in the recent games. He's still big, but he's toned down. It's a bit more realistic.
It's a bit more realistic. But again, if we're gonna sit here and start critiquing the size of the arms of a protagonist in a game where there are hordes of zombies, including giant zombies, and a man standing in lava throwing RPGs back at you after you've launched them.
Oh, stop.
That's not how the world works. So we'll allow Chris his ginormous arms.
You know what, man? I was kind of over the whole zombie thing recently, but what brought me back? Dying like the beast, man.
That's crazy.
They've done a
Nice.
hell of a job with that game. I'll tell you what.
It was well done. No, thank you, man. Like that's you look. That's kudos to Techland, and they just as a studio, they really do spend the time on getting. I've said this throughout the years. It's connected to an analogy in the world of movies where you can take a wonderful script, you can take a really really good script and make a crappy movie. You cannot take a crappy script and make a good movie. It's just such the skeletal structure of things is so important. And I've always said a great game has to have phenomenal gameplay. You can have the most incredible narrative and incredible story and beautiful performances and all this wonderful music. You can have all of that, but if the gameplay sucks, you don't have a good game. You don't have a good interactive game. And Techland has focused so heavily on their gameplay elements to make it such a gratifying experience that, I mean, like I always chuckle and I go, look, the narrative in Dying Light 1 was, it had its problems here and there. And it was like, I mean, it's the challenge of taking a development team that's in Poland and having them, hire an English speaking American actor and working with Harris Orkin on DL1. He was the writer and became my voiceover director on that first game. And we were just sort of flying blind from time differences and things like that. It was very rare that we had an ability to get an answer on the day of like, who is he talking to here, or what's just happened? And so we would kind of just roll the dice, record it a bunch of different ways, and hope that something would stick. So the narrative in Dying Light 1, maybe not as impressive or good as the gameplay, but the gameplay has been for the last decade
and still holds up.
Continues to this day to be such a gratifying, phenomenal zombie game to play.
But also, they loved your character. Everyone loves your character from that game. You cannot deny that. You cannot deny that, Roger. I'm sorry.
Hey, look, I'll take it. That's Harris. That's the two of us like working together on things and creating a very fun. What I love about that version of Kyle Crane is that he's not your typical like Chris would never show weakness. Chris is always like he's got an answer for everything kind of thing. And Kyle Crane by comparison would be just a little bit more hard on his sleeve and a little bit more exasperated. And the quintessential line of when somebody says like, Kyle, why are you screaming, or why are you yelling? And he says like, I'm yelling because this effed up infected mother effer with guts hanging out of its mouth just spit a bunch of toxic snot at me. And it's like he's just kind of going, I'm disgusted, I'm covered in toxic snot, so I'm gonna yell and scream.
You had some great lines in this one too with some of the boss fights. I remember. Yeah, you probably don't remember them as well as I do, but yeah.
You know what was neat this time around? They worked. We worked sort of collaboratively and together with it. Like they let me kind of help develop a lot more of like the Kyle thing, because they were saying 10 years later, like we want to incorporate Roger into this. And so there were a number of us. Olivier de Rivière, the composer, he and I worked closely a lot in the early stages, trying to make sure that we were capturing and not stepping so far away from the Kyle that the fan base had come to love, and that we were going to recapture some of that energy while also kind of tweaking this idea that he's been experimented on for over 13 years, and it's just
that was a great scene too.
It was cool. It was fun, man. It is so great getting back to that. And I love that people are still finding the game just as gratifying, if not more, and they like this beast mode. And man, Techland just keeps coming out with more content. They really are engaging their community and the fan base, and they're trying to just make it more and more every single day. I keep waking up and having people go like, they just released another patch with like this new game mode and all this, and like now there's an alpha volatile, and I'm just like volatile. I'm just like, wow, this is nuts. Yeah,
that's one of the coolest enemies, the volatile. They're just freaky,
creepy,
really cool design. Yeah,
the minute the night happens and you hear that scream way off in the distance, and you're just like, ugh, the bad kind of goosebumps.
Did you know Aiden was coming back? And did you know when you signed on?
I did not. No,
really.
I like everybody else for the longest time was speculating that this beast that we were sort of tracking and tracing was going to wind up being Aiden. I was hoping for it, because my hope was that what we were going to wind up was with the best of all worlds. And I still, to this day, I'm kind of going, man, it would be fun to think.
Oh yeah.
Success of this one, that if there was to be another game, because I will be the last to find out. That's the way this industry works, and it's by design. But obviously, as a fan. And a working actor who wouldn't mind working again. I wouldn't mind. Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to see something like a split screen co-op or something like that with with both Aiden and Kyle, and they kind of set it up. I mean, like towards the end, they really did sort of set it up with, not to spoil, spoiler alert, but I think they've left it a little open ended, which had me, from a fan point as well as an actor point, kind of going, okay, let's hope this is a success, because I think you guys want to come back for some more. It's what it seems like you're setting up. So we shall see. I would love that.
I do wonder if they'll go the co-op route or if they will keep it single player and you can switch between the two, or maybe they'll do both,
Either or, I am happy.
Happy as a pig in shit, eh?
Like skill sets and skill trees, and or maybe it starts to enhance the way that the game unfolds for you if you choose one character over another more so, or which relationships are more complicated by Aiden versus Kyle. That'd be really cool.
There's a lot you could do. Yeah, they're really talented over there. The parkour is probably one of the best parkour systems in any game.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I guess maybe that's what my voice just lends it to, is just parkour games of Assassin's Creed to Dying Light. It's like vocally I embody, a parkour artist.
You do too. Yeah, even Batman Sonic, bit of parkour. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. They hear athleticism in my voice. Not when they see me, but they hear it,
No, I think they hear hero with you, because you've played more heroes than villains, I would say, right?
I have, yeah. That's why Planes in 2013 as a Disney villain was so fun. Yeah, it was so great. For Ripslinger, it was just like, that was a blast. And even Hi-Fi Rush, Kale Vandelay and Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, I haven't played that yet. I'm desperate to play it. Yeah.
Super fun. It is like, if you're going to go into that genre of a game, you can't do any better. They just, it's like, it's detached enough, but self-referential enough, but snarky and fun. And the rhythm thing works so well. It's just such a cool concept. I remember hearing about it going, okay, I'm going to be curious when this drops. And they sort of shadow dropped it. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, that game is out. Got the email like, hey, everybody, we're launching the game. And I remember firing it up and playing it and going, this is cool. Just as he's idling, he snaps his fingers and taps his toes to what the song that's playing.
Yeah. So you're the big bad.
I'm the bad guy in that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's fun. And he's a deliciously snarky, bombastic, just a buffoon of a bad guy. And bad guys are fun, man. I love bad guys. I want to play more bad guys.
Yeah, I'd love to see you tackle a kind of gritty, disturbing type of character, not a nice guy type of serious. You know what I mean?
Alden Dorn in Black Ops 7 right now. So I'm voicing he's a very not nice human being known as Alden Dorn. And it's a challenge. I mean, that one, especially in that, it's sort of such a fast paced kind of a thing. But it's I'm wondering how that's landing with people right now, because I know there's more, obviously to come. But no, yeah, they just had a couple trailers released with him, and and he's going after Mason, and it's.
Are you in the season 1 cinematic? Yeah.
Yeah. So that character, if you've seen if you've seen that, they teased it with his relationship with Kagan early on, where he was sort of Kagan's right hand man, if you will. And there was a scene at the end of the
campaign.
Yeah. That off, and then the most recent trailer for season 1. It starts off, and I don't want to spoil anything, but Kagan doesn't have such a great time, and then Mason is confronting Dorn, and Dorn apparently gets the best of Mason in certain ways. So yeah, so bad guys are fun, man. They're a challenge, I think, and yeah, maybe there's something about the timbre of my voice and that kind of thing that has lent itself to sort of hero characters. I mean, Captain America and Batman and that kind of thing, but yeah. I mean, Elseworlds Batman for Red Sun, Superman Red Sun was that would have been fun, because that's kind of a different take.
Big time.
Yeah. That is not a Batman who doesn't kill. It's a very different Batman. That was exciting to experience that too.
I had the pleasure of having Kevin Conroy on my show before he passed, which was a real honor. And obviously he passed away. He was, to me, the greatest Batman ever. Absolutely. But if anyone's going to take his mantle with Rocksteady's next game,
oh boy,
ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at him right here. If you're not in that next Rocksteady Batman game, I'll be one of those Twitter people. I'll become one of those people.
That is high praise. I will say, because you're not the first to and thank you for that, because when people say, like, you're not my first Batman, Kevin, and I go, I get it, he's my Batman as well. I mean, that's like, and Troy and I have fielded questions like this, in the past, where it's like, the filling those shoes, and I always say, you can't fill those shoes. It's 20 years of an iconic, representation of a character that we all grew up on. It's like, you don't fill those shoes. You borrow as best you can and hope to not, break a lace or wear out a sole. And honestly, it's like, all we can do is try to pay homage and not step outside the box that Kevin and other voice actors and other actors who have portrayed this character both on camera, that they've established where Batman lives, and we try to pay homage to that as best we can. But look, there are so many people that are doing it now that I think that's probably more where we're going to be at. And it's like, I honestly don't know if that means that they want to get away from familiarity with it and try something entirely different. I know nothing about that. I can't confirm, deny, know nothing about what's going on with regard to Rocksteady on that regard. And of course I would jump at the chance. But no, I was fortunate enough to attend a celebration of life for Kevin, and it was just, the guy was such a remarkable human being. It's just a loss that I don't think people can really quite understand. I mean, just beyond Batman, he loved being Batman. And it's like I say, I can't come close to even competing. I don't try to compete, to be honest. I don't try to do, what Kevin has done, because I think that would be such an insult. It's like saying, well, I can do that. Again, it would be my crappy impression.
You had your own take, and I love the scenes with Alfred in Origins, man. They were personal. There was some grit there. They were just, it's just such a great game. Very underrated. I mean, I don't know if you can call it underrated now. It's pretty.
It's getting its
flowers.
Yeah, which is nice. And I think a lot of people recognize the story is strong. The boss fights were really brutal. Deathstroke.
I called him
brilliant. Deadshot recently, and I was like, no, it's Deathstroke. I didn't call it Deadshot.
Deathstroke fight is one of the best fights. Yeah.
And
so good.
That begins off like, I'm not playing games. I just love those types of lines, and really the dynamic with Alfred was phenomenal, because that's Martin Jarvis. What a gentleman, and what an accomplished performer, and just such a swell human being. I lament not getting to meet him. I think he did all of his sessions from out in the UK for Arkham Shadow. Damn. No, yeah, we never got a chance to see him again, and I hope to. I'm going to be going out into Manchester and things like that, and I hope to make my way to London as well. And I want to just try to shake his hand again, because getting to be in the booth with him for a lot of scenes was one of the best experiences of my acting career. It was just like, man, this is cool. This is not where I should be, and even working with on Arkham Shadow and getting to work with Armin Shimmerman and Mark Ralston. Oh my God, it's Elijah Wood. My God, it's hard for me. It's hard to Dwight Schultz. I'm just racking my brain with everybody.
I know.
Like all these people that I got to work with. It was such a fun time. Tara Strong on that, all this stuff. It's like, I'm very, very lucky to be a part of that universe. So it's not about picking up a mantle or anything like that. It's just more like, man, lightning has struck too many times in my life.
Dude, I could literally talk to you for hours. I know you got to run. You were working with Jennifer Aniston on something recently?
I have, yeah. So it's funny. I think it's finally catching wind that people like. So I've been doing the voice. I did it in the first audiobook that is already out. And we've done it for a lot of the Instagram videos and YouTube videos that are this character that she created for a children's book. It's called Claudio Takes a Bite Out of Life. Is the first book, and it's a great little, it's to help kids that are learning how to read. So the second audiobook, Claudio versus Peanut Butter, is going to launch. I think it's from HarperCollins Publishing. They do the audiobook as well. That's coming out
Nice.
I think on December 30th of this year. But I think the physical book is already out. I might be wrong about that, but I know that the physical book is out, and it's a ton of fun, and I voice Claudio.
What's the voice?
Family.
Oh God. Oh gosh. I'm trying to, Claudio, take a bite out of life. Hey, how you doing? I'm Claudio. I love cooking, and I really want to find my thing. It's like I got to find my thing. And I didn't know what my thing was. And then my aunts and my uncles and my mom and my dad and everybody kind of helped me find my thing. And you can find your thing too.
No, it's a beautiful story. she does such a great job, and it's so surreal. Going, well, again, as I joke with all of my friends now that we've reached a certain age, and you look back at your life and you go, how the heck did I get here? Going, well, there I am on a Zoom call with Jennifer Aniston going, yep, life's going exactly as I planned it. This unbelievable celebrity, this unbelievable talent and actor.
Did you stay professional, Roger?
I did. I
Good man.
did. I think thankfully the idea of Starstruck now, I'm
I know.
nerd out. You know what I nerd out on and who I get nervous around is Johnny Vatos, the drummer from Oingo Boingo. Because we've done for years now. I've met him so many times, but for years now, I've done these charity things. We do this at Christmas Carol event at the Saban Theater in LA. And it's like, and he's been out there with me doing Foley sound effects. And then this year he was doing more music and stuff. And I just am like, dude, I saw you guys perform at the Universal Amphitheater when it was still there. It's Hogwarts, I think. But there was a Universal Amphitheater was there. And I was like, I saw you guys perform your farewell show for Oingo Boingo music that I grew up on because I'm the youngest in my family by 7 years, and all my siblings were all older, and they were in high school, and I was in like elementary and junior high and stuff, and they would listen to cool music, and I would pick up on cool music like Oingo Boingo, the Go-Go's, all that stuff. And so here I am in like my 20s, and I'm watching this farewell concert. I was probably in my 20s or what I think about it. It was 96 that was their farewell show.
Yeah.
And, I would have been 20, and there with a buddy to watch Oingo Boingo say farewell to their fans. And now I get to be around Johnny Vato. So I get nervous around that, but like, so like other celebrities and fellow actors, I'm kind of like, hey, it's neat to be here. It's like, I just kind of go, man, this is so cool. And I'll let them know, hey, I find this to be an absolute joy. Like I was sitting next to Susan Sarandon in an autograph hall, and I was saying, "Oh, are you sure you want me to?" They wanted me to sign like a movie poster, and I was like, "That's Ben Schwartz. I'm not in the movies. That's Ben Schwartz."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, but we understand it. But we're trying to get everybody on it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And Susan Sarandon looks over and she starts giving me crap. She goes, "Who the hell are you? And why are you complaining about having to sign a poster?" And she goes, "Look at what I'm signing. I'm signing a dang baseball, And she's like, "How do you write on a baseball?" And then I started giving her guff back, where it's like, I was hauling butt and getting through stuff, and I was like, "Oh wow, look at me, I'm already done." And she's looking at me going, "Who are you?" And we were just having a good time, and I was like, "This." And I said, "Susan, thank you for that. I can't imagine that it's as much of a thrill for you." I was like, "But this has been a lot of fun meeting you." And she's like, "Oh, like it was great. It was lovely and gracious." And
that's what you want. More down to earth kind of stuff. Yeah, that's good, man.
I think that's where I'm like, there's a good friend of mine who went through the ranks of network television and was very, very, very high-powered in network television for much of his life and really made a name for himself doing a lot of incredible work. And at one point I remember asking him, I was like, "Hey, what's the biggest lesson you've learned at this stage of your life?" And both within the industry as well as just, you as a person. And he said that everybody's a human being. And he goes, and I just have to remind myself that even when I'm maybe fanning out about somebody that we're working with that is one of the biggest celebrities on earth, they're still a human being. They might be tired. They might be under-medicated, over-medicated. He's like, they might be, dealing with a personal tragedy in their life that we know nothing about. And he's like, so I try to suspend my judgment as best I can. He goes, look,
I'm the same, man. Yeah.
He's like, if somebody's having a bad day and they're just being cranky or whatever, he goes, I just try to remember they're a human being and this is a weird position they find themselves in. And I was like, that's really good advice. That's a really important lesson that everybody is, So it allows me to ease up on myself when I'm not feeling so hot, and also just kind of understand that, like, when I meet somebody, if they're not what I was hoping for, it's like, whatever. I'll still let them know that I like them.
Yeah. No, hey man, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope we could do this again. Man.
Hopefully I have more bigger things ahead.
I've got a feeling you're going to work again in this space.
Some things coming out. Yeah, there's some things next year, and maybe we'll have this get arranged.
I've just got an inkling you might work again. Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Before I let you go, a couple of your characters, can they say something to Dan to round this out, to finish us off
Dan,
here?
what do you want me to say, Dan? You put me on the spot like that. Like I got to go fast and come up with something, like I'm going to ad-lib something for Dan Allen Gaming? Whatever.
Let's see. I need an egg, and Dan Allen is that egg. Salute, Dan Allen Gaming. This is the best. Welcome to the Brotherhood. What is your egg? And so sorry for this accent. Oh God, I'm trying to think. Kyle Crane, like, you listen to me, and you listen good. I will only do this favor for you one more time, because all he does is favors for everybody all the time.
Man,
right?
the poor guy, he's just pissed off all the time, doing things for people. He's pissed off with people.
Yeah.
Mouse from If You Give a Mouse a Cookie.
Which I've just come to find out that the If You Give a Mouse a Cookie Christmas special, which was produced by Amazon, for Amazon, owned by Amazon, you can't watch it because there's a copyright issue. So hopefully before Christmas is over, get figured out and people can watch If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and then people go like, oh, I didn't know he was doing that voice too.
Oh, man. You're a talented son of a bitch, as I said at the start. Thank you very much for that, man. Enjoy your day. Really appreciate your time, brother.
Likewise. Thank you. I hope to do it again.